Audio is live. Now I can hear one. You get a test.
I'm here. Testing.
All right,
one,
good,
two,
sir.
three.
We are bringing you in. 3, 2, 1.
Good evening. Welcome to Under the Influence. This is the show about storytelling and messages, not alcoholic beverages. I'm Aquan Robinson, DestinationMGM. This is the collab. This is the Wonder Years after show from Montgomery perspective. Joining me is my co-host, Ashley Jernigan. Ashley, what's going on?
Hey, happy to see you virtually and glad that you're still able to log in and not leave me hanging.
Yeah. We're using the technology that we have.
Right.
To do pipe me in from the nation's capital, Washington, D.C. as I'm out here trying to learn a little bit more and do everything I can to bring more business tourism-wise to Montgomery. So, just trying to make it work.
So I want to thank you all also for listening in today, and I'm sure everybody, I hope you did, that you saw the episode. And what did you say? What was the words you said? Dicey? Spicy, right?
Spicy, yeah. It's a nice episode. It was a little spicy.
Spicy, I like it. So as you said, I'm Ashley Jernigan. I'm with Destination Montgomery, and we are so happy to have this Montgomery Reacts show that kind of helps you get a peek into understanding 1960s Montgomery, Alabama. What it was, the thriving, what happened during that time, and kind of give you an idea and understanding relating back to the show, but also modern day, what's going on, which leads me to who we have here with us today to help give us some context and help us think about what was 1960s Montgomery, Alabama, and most importantly, something that was talked about in the first two episodes was Centennial Hill, which was home to many people, civil rights leaders, historical places. So I'd like to introduce you to Ms. Valerie Smedley.
Hello there.
Hello. Ms. Smedley. Ms. Valerie is the owner of Tours of Montgomery. And you want to give us a little bit of information about?
Yes. Good evening, everybody. As Ashley told you, my name is Valerie Smedley, and I'm the owner of Tours of Montgomery, right in the heart, at the apex of Centennial Hill, right at the corner of High and Jackson. And it's just, I am so honored to be there because of the history that took place there in the late 50s and early 60s. And now we're there to reclaim the land, to rejuvenate it, bring it back to life.
So you'll see in the episode, not only this time, but also the previous times, they mentioned 68, which was the last, this last episode and before. And they actually had you at certain locations and you saw certain schools that they were highlighting and certain places around the city. And so we want to be able to talk to you guys and bring you all into Centennial Hill. And you may not know Centennial Hill or may not know its significance and its history and how the 60s played a major role with that area, how that area really connected all the different organizing that happened in one major corridor right here in Montgomery, right downtown, that really fed to a lot of conversations that happened in the first couple of episodes, whether it was organizing for protests, staying in a hotel,
that's right.
Many things. So did anything stand out for you, Aquan, that you remember and know?
Yeah, I think you touched on it, specifically talking about just the neighborhood, the connection that it had from, Dexter Church and a lot of people in that neighborhood attending Dexter Avenue Church, and then the connection that it has to Alabama State, because Alabama State is in Centennial Hill. And as we talked about some last week, we talked about, some of the name dropping, the Oak Park being adjacent to Centennial Hill as well. It just all really connects into that neighborhood and just the rich cultural history of that neighborhood, obviously during the civil rights movement, but even predating that as well. It's just really that kind of that real burgeoning middle class neighborhood, which is what we're featuring on the Wonder Year.
Right, exactly. So, Ms. Valerie, can you give us a little bit of information about Centennial Hill for those who don't fully know and know what it is even today for them to come and visit?
Well, and I like what Aquan said about the nature of the neighborhood, because there was so much that happened there. it's hard to do your research history and see a neighborhood that had its own hotel, its own movie theater, newspaper, grocery store, the church. There was so much that happened there. And we know that Martin Luther King lived there with his family from 1954 to 1960, but there was so much that happened there. The Harris House. The Harris House is just so full of information, and people pass it every day, not realizing what started there. Even something as simple as the bus boycott. That her mom was instrumental in getting those flyers distributed so that people would know not to get on the bus on Monday morning. Something that should have lasted one day lasted 382 days. So, like I said, it's just an honor to be there. Some people didn't know that, what everybody loves is Top Flight, but that was the movie theater, the first black movie theater. And people pass there. And that's why I'm trying so hard to make sure that neighborhood gets the recognition that it deserves.
Right.
Everybody needs to know that, whether you live here in Montgomery, been here all of your life, or whether you're a tourist. But most of all, I think our community, because it's our history that needs to be put out front. And all of these people that live here in Montgomery, we want you to take out time and learn about it. You all are working hard to make sure that this information is provided, that we need to take advantage of it. We need to take advantage of it.
I want to hop in too, because you mentioned a few things, and there's other landmarks too that we got to talk about. Like Georgia Gilmore's home, Johnny Carr's home, Rufus Lewis's home. There's so many homes of cultural significance in that neighborhood that we ride by on a daily basis that we've taken for granted. And I think it's important that we continue to shine light on those landmarks, those people, to make sure that we're preserving that history moving forward. It's so important, because that's just a gem of just significance for the beacon of the country, that we've got to continue to maintain that legacy.
Yeah. And you said a couple things you said. You said a thriving middle class family. You talked about the first movie theater. You think about all these things, the things you heard. You heard Harris House. You heard George Gilmore. These are all people that were pivotal right during this time, right? That played major parts in the 50s and 60s. And you can actually come to Centennial Hill. There are landmarks. There are historical markers. And then you can tour even some of these places. And so you get an opportunity to come. And right at the corner, right at the anchor, we have Tours of Montgomery.
That's right.
Right? You want to talk a little about what's inside Tours of Montgomery?
Yes. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about Tours of Montgomery, because if you walk inside the store, it's just like the name. You can actually take a tour of Montgomery inside of the shop.
Okay.
So because a lot of people come to Montgomery and they may not have time to ride around and see Rosa Parks and Nat King Cole. And see, that's another thing, Nat King Cole.
Right.
So when they come in Tours of Montgomery, they can get everything from a distinct souvenir to a good cup of coffee.
And a really good
smoothie. That's right. That's right. So that's been my honor to be there, right there in that apex, so that when people come, that's my obligation to our community, to our history, is to not let people leave without knowing what happened there. And hopefully, along with that, take a souvenir back with them, or take a t-shirt back with them. So there's a variety of things inside of Tours of Montgomery. And, we're at 353 South Jackson. If you don't remember the address, just come right there to the Benmore Hotel and see all of the history, and I'll be right there to greet you.
So some of you may not know the Benmore Hotel, right? And it explains to you what made Centennial Hill so amazing, right? And what it is in all of these locations. Some of the most iconic pictures that you see of Dr. King and John Lewis, you'll see that, and you'll see the Benmore Hotel behind it.
Right.
That's an iconic image that is being spread up, that you could see anywhere and everywhere. And you can actually come to Montgomery and see where that was and where that is now. But also, as you said, take a tour. Whether it's a walking tour, whether you're walking yourself, you have an opportunity to come and experience and see it. And so the Wonder Years gives us what an amazing thing it does for us is it helps people get not only an insight into the 60s, but get a little bit insight into Montgomery. And that's what's really amazing about it. And it gets people's thoughts going. So if you've thought about it and you want to see it, we can connect the 60s to 2021 right now by preserving the history that we've already preserved and that we're continuing to preserve with different projects that we've talked about, things that we want to do, not only in Centennial Hill, but all over the entire city that preserves this amazing history. And so you can come here, and as you said, it's not just, you can get a cup of coffee. You can get smoothie. You can buy a few earrings, right? You can do some things when you go down there, but also you can experience and you can see some of these, and you'll know that there'll be a lot of filming that comes up soon, next couple weeks, that will be actual places right here in Montgomery that you'll be able to see and understand, and we're going to pull some of those places out and talk to you all about it. And that's our real goal here, is that not only are we reacting to the show, but we're going to react to how the show is helping us expose and see all the amazing history that's related to Montgomery, but also kind of a peek into a typical black family.
That's right.
At the time.
That's right.
Going through all the things they're going through.
From watching that segment, this episode, I can remember, the simple things like, just grown folks, we having a good time. But there's so much, you all, that happened here in Montgomery that can bring back so many memories. Whether you were a little one or whether you were a teenager, whether you were an adult, you can still relate to it now in 2021.
Right.
So you come to Centennial Hill and you're like, oh yeah, I remember that. That was a good time. When people tell you that Ike and Tina Turner performed at the top floor of the Benmore Hotel. Now tell me who don't remember Tina Turner. I don't care how old you are.
Right.
Even if you didn't grow up on her music, you've heard her music because your grandma played it.
Right.
Her mama played it.
My mama played it.
My mama played it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So even history like that.
Right.
Grew up in that neighborhood, went to school in that neighborhood, Booker T. Washington, at the time on the high school that African Americans could attend. My grandfather played at the Benmore Hotel on that top floor.
Yeah.
Being a musician with Clarence Carter, who is also from,
Montgomery.
So it's just, there's just so many connections then and now that we just have to maintain that legacy, right? And then something that you said earlier too is when we have these visitors coming, people want to come and take something back that is uniquely Montgomery.
Yes.
And so that's something that you've been able to establish in a neighborhood that is uniquely Montgomery as well, Valerie. So we appreciate you for doing that and just being good steward in the community and being able to preserve and tell that story.
Thank you so very much. Like I said, it's an honor to be able to be there to do that, and so people can take something back. Saying that I did visit Montgomery, Alabama.
Mm-hmm. And I think we mentioned what 6 or 7 places, and we're talking about one corner. In one corner we have historical markers. We have places you can visit. We have places you can shop. We're in the middle of hoping to even do even more for that. So it's pretty awesome about the opportunities that are available when you're doing something like this, right? When you're coming and you're visiting Montgomery. Because a lot of times people come and then they come and they stay in one section, one corridor, right? And so times like this is what we're doing to grab you out of that corridor and say, hey, of course come down here and be on Dexter Avenue, right where we are right now, on the most historical street in the nation, I would say. But also know that right up the street is Centennial Hill. A whole amazing neighborhood full of rich history, full of amazing people, right? Different people from the area and history that you can learn and be able to be a part and support, right? Support that community and gets you just to stay just one more day and visit one more area. And we are sure that not only Miss Valerie, but everybody else, including Dr. Montgomery with the Harris House, that there's other options that you can go to and you can experience and be a part of. So that's what's so amazing about the Wonder Years. That's why we're loving it. is because we're getting an opportunity to really highlight some things that we've been wanting to do for a long time.
Yes.
And this gives us our chance to really talk about it and to really highlight the places that you may not have even thought about the last time you were here. So now we're giving you an excuse to come back.
Yeah, come on back.
There's big plans also too for Centennial Hill.
Yes, thank you.
Some revitalization efforts that people in Montgomery are wanting to invest into the community in partnership with Montgomery Housing Authority and with Alabama State, and just really earmarking some funds to really, again, maintain that cultural heritage that is Centennial Hill as being really the I would say the boiling point really for the civil rights movement.
Yes.
You know, is being able to cook up all that synergy to what we know as the modern day civil rights movement. I mean, all that happened in that neighborhood. So it is imperative that we maintain that history and cultivate it moving forward. So being able to come up with some type of master plan.
And we got the map. I don't know how many ideas are probably in your head about what can be done, right? I only got a small portion of those ideas that you had.
I even started my own little park. You know, I did my little cinder block. I did my cinder block benches.
So let's forget about the artwork for the space.
Planting the flowers.
I was about to say, we got to talk about the wings that
the wings by Sky.
24-hour span. So and that's another thing too, and some other art projects that might be.
That's right.
Keep an eye
on
in partnership with 21 Dreams.
That's right. Keep your eye open.
That might be going down as well. So we're looking forward to again doing our little part, because a good friend of mine by the name of Kevin King's got a slogan that says, art creates culture.
That's
and
right.
So, those are some things that we want to look at.
Shameless plug that will be for sale at the visitors.
That's right.
Right. We will do so. We have to throw that in there.
Yeah. And Ashley, I really appreciate your efforts, along with your colleagues, of what you all are doing to help preserve Centennial Hill.
Thank you.
Because preservation of anything is not a one-person effort, it's a team effort. And I just want you all to know from the bottom of my heart that I really, truly appreciate everything that everybody is doing. From just stopping by to say thank you for what you're doing, the number of people that are praying for me, for praying for that intersection. And I tell people, it's really not about me. It's just like Aquan said, it's about the history that we all have to do. And, you got to have somebody who's the leader. I'm kind of headstrong, but you're getting things done. But I'm getting things done, little bit by little bit.
Right.
And I really do appreciate you all. I really do.
So thank you. I mean, really, that's what we say. That's what we want to do, is that we want to invite you to different parts of the city. We want you all to come, and even if you're from Montgomery, even if you live in Montgomery, to be a tourist in your own town. Right? And to go experience it, because no one can talk about it better than someone who lives there. And if they are able to go there, and make sure you stop by and say that you learned about her through this, right? Tell her that, and come by there and support. And she can tell you many other places that you can support in Centennial Hill as well. That will be an amazing opportunity, not only for the area, but for common knowledge and for history preservation.
That's right.
As she said. And I like to say, every time I talk to Aquan, he tells me more and more things from history. So I'm going to call you the tourism department's history buff, okay? If it's history, if it's arts, if it's culture, he got it, right? He'll tell us and he'll let us know.
Yeah,
and we appreciate it, because you respect it.
We'll take pseudo. We'll take pseudo.
Right.
We'll take that.
Good. Well, listen, again, Valerie, we appreciate you, everything that you do for the community.
Thank you.
And we appreciate having you on, being able to tell your story about what you're doing in the neighborhood. And again, y'all got to support this woman. So when you see her, and if you don't know where it is, a lot of people, I'm gonna tell you, growing up, it was the African Head Shop. So it's in the old African Head Shop building.
That's right.
So the corner of High Street in Jackson, go see her.
Right. See her. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're absolutely welcome.
Thank you.
Well,
go ahead.
we're gonna get ready to wrap this thing up. We like to keep it short and sweet.
Right,
we want to be
right.
able to tell everybody what's going on. We thank everybody for tuning in. Again, next week we're doing this every Wednesday. The Wonder Years, the Montgomery.
No matter where we are.
No matter where we
That's
are.
right.
No matter where we are. Next week is gonna be interesting.
Yes.
So
Yes.
stay tuned.
Definitely. Thank you all
So
so
again,
much.
That's a wrap. Thank y'all for checking this out. Y'all enjoy the rest of your Wednesday.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
That was